Yes, sir, already. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now, this is my data already prepared before, For example, this is daily demand, Okay, from the first, the Q system simulation, and here we have probabilistic demand and lead time. Okay, we try to simulate not only demand but also lead time. The lead time is changing. You can imagine like something like this. For example, when we do online shopping, we can estimate when to receive the order, when to receive our order. But sometimes if there is some disruption, then the lead time will be longer, or sometimes the lead time is shorter. Sometimes when I do online shopping, I expect I receive my order 2 days, 2 days later, but sometimes I receive only 1 day, only 1 day after. It means that the courier is very good, and maybe there is, and the load is not very high. But sometimes I receive after 5 days or maybe 4 or 5 days like that. It means that we know that the lead time sometimes is dynamic. So here we want to simulate both demand and lead time. So here, based on the previous data, based on the previous experience, the demand can be, let's say, from 0 to 10. This is daily, daily demand, from 0 to 10. And based on the historical data, we can identify the probability of demand equals to 0 until 10. Based on the previous data, the probability. And the sum must be 1. Here I sum the probability of the demand that equals to 1. Okay, so done. And after that, we need to identify the lower limit and upper limit. Okay, the lower limit of the first demand will be 0, and the upper limit will be equals to the probability. And then for the second demand, it's same, between equals to the previous upper limit, and for the next upper limit will be the lower limit, plus the probability. Like this. Same, this one also same. This one, sorry, I make it like this, to make it same with the other equation, the lower limit plus the probability. This one also same, the lower limit plus the probability. So after that, we can copy down. This one also same, we can copy down. So here we need to make sure, the last will be must be 1, So here I make it red, just to make us one with that value. This one must be 1. This one must be 1. Okay, so then we do the same for the lower limit for the demand. For the lead time. For the lead time, based on our experience, for example, the lead time can be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, or 4 days. And the probability based on the previous data, this is the probability, and the sum of the probability must be 1. Okay, and then for the lower limit, it equals to 0, and for the upper limit, it equals to the lower limit plus the probability. Okay, and then for the next will be equals to the previous upper limit. And then for the next upper limit will be same. The lower limit plus the probability. And after that, we can copy down. Okay, so done already 1. I make it red. Okay, so done. And then the parameters. The parameters with S. Parameters. The initial inventory. Yes, we can see. We can identify the initial inventory from the warehouse, because we can identify the initial inventory exactly. Then it will be parameter. Okay, and the holding cost in this case, let's say, we can calculate the holding cost exactly. Let's say 2 rupiah or $2 per unit per day, and then per unit per day. Okay, and the back order cost. Okay, and the case is back order, this one. So we can put back order case. Because if we have stock out, if we have stock, because the system is dynamic. If the system is dynamic, then we have probability to have stock out. And then for the stock out, there are two probabilities. There are two probabilities. Whether we can fulfill this stock out in the next period, it counts as back order, or we lost it. we lost it. If we lost, it means that the case is lost sales. It is different, yeah. It is different. Here we have back order case. Back order case means that when we receive our order, yeah, in a period, then we need to fulfill the previous back order first. Yeah. But if we have lost sales case, then when we receive order, we don't need to consider the previous loss, the previous stock out, because we already lost it. Yeah, that's the difference. Okay, student. And the holding cost will be 0. Yeah, this one we assume, yeah, this is parameters, so we can calculate exactly the holding cost per unit per day, and also the back order cost, yeah, per unit, which is 5. Okay, and this is the performance, yeah, of the simulation. Later I will explain for this. And the decision variable, yeah, as we know in Q system there are 2 decision variable. The first called as reorder level, and the second called as order quantity. You can refer back to my slide about inventory. Yeah. If we talk about Q system, then there are 2 decision variables, Q and R. Q is the order quantity, and R is the order level. Because this is decision variable, then we can try. Yeah, we can try with any value. Yeah, we can try with any value. Let's say I try, yeah, 10 and also 50. You can check here. There is no formula. It means that I enter manually. Yeah, because this is decision variable. We can control it. If we can control, then we can use any value. Yeah, let's say I use 10 and 50. Okay, student? And this one also same, yeah. And this one based on the calculation, this one called as parameters. Okay. Now we create simulation table like this. Yeah, day. Yeah, we try to simulate from day 1 until day 365 for 1 year, yeah, for 1 year. And then after that, order received to simulate when we receive our order. Okay, and then this is the beginning inventory. Yeah, the beginning inventory. Yeah, and this is the random number to generate the demand, to simulate the demand. Yeah, and after that, this is the ending inventory. Yeah, beginning inventory at the beginning of the day. Yeah, after that, when we receive demand, then we will use the inventory to fulfill this demand, and at the end, yeah, we call it as the ending inventory. Yeah, this one is the ending inventory, and also we need to calculate the back order. Yeah, if we have stock out, the stock is less than the demand, we will have stock out. Then we can calculate we can determine the back order based on that. Yeah, and order status, yes, we will order or no. Yeah, it depends on the ending inventory and the reorder level. Yeah, if we refer back to the inventory theory, yeah, if the ending inventory is less than or equals to the reorder level, then we will order. So the status will be yes or no. And then, yeah, this is the random number to simulate the lead time. Okay, and the receive day is when we order, then we need to wait. Yeah, how many days until the how many days? Yeah, for it represented by the lead time. And after that, we will receive the order in what day? And then we will record here the receive day. Yeah, receive order. Yeah, receive order day. Okay, so then now we start from here. The beginning inventory. Yeah, at the beginning, yeah, we need to refer to this one, initial inventory. Yeah, at the beginning we have this 50 units. So here, yeah, we just type equals to the initial inventory. Simple. Yeah. Okay, and after that, the random number, this one we can use RAND, random. Okay, then we copy down, yeah, until 365 days. Yeah, and after that, in order to make it easy to read, yeah, so we can format, then we just consider 2 digit, yeah, after decimal, yeah, the 2-digit decimal value, yeah. So here, so it will be easy to read. Okay, and the demand, so then okay, demand here, yeah, the random number here will be checked, yeah, will be checked in this interval, yeah. 0.7 supposed to be here, yeah, 0.7. Okay, so we need to take 7. Okay, and then the question is how to enter a formula, yeah, to get this demand. Yeah, this one, 7. So here we can use, yeah, V look up, yeah, vertical look up. Okay, the lookup value, this one, Yeah, this one the lookup value. And the table array, we can block lower limit, upper limit, and the demand. Okay. Oh, sorry. Forgot to type comma. Yeah, this one is the lookup value, comma. Yeah, lower, upper limit, and the demand. We block it. Don't forget to lock it. Yeah, so I type S4. This one, yeah, to lock with a dollar sign. Yeah, and then after that, the column index. Yeah, column index means that we want to take in the data in which column. Since I place at the third column, yeah, demand is the third column, right? In this array, demand is in the third column. So I type 3, then I press enter. Now I got 10. You can check. Yeah, when the random number is 0.95, it falls in this interval. So the demand is 10. Yeah, we can try to simulate. I put my cursor here, then I press delete. Okay, when the random number change, yeah, becomes 0.54, then the demand is 4. We can check from here. Yeah, 0.54 fall in this interval, then the demand must be 4. Okay, here we have 4, so it's correct. Okay, student, like that. Yeah. Then after that, we can copy down. Okay. Then after that, yeah, we can try to calculate the end inventory. Yeah, ending inventory. So here equals to if, yeah, if the beginning stock greater than, yeah, or equals to the demand, then we have inventory. Yeah, the inventory will be the beginning stock, yeah, beginning inventory minus the demand. Okay, greater than, yeah, not equals to, yeah. And if no, yeah, then it will be 0. Yeah, like that. Okay. Now we can check. Yeah, if we have 50 and the demand is 6, then the ending inventory will be 44. Yeah. Okay. Then we can copy down. See, student. Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah, for the second, please be careful. For the beginning inventory, yeah, we need to consider the order received. If we receive order, let's say the order is 50, right? Yeah. For example, yeah, if we receive order 50 here, so our beginning inventory will be the equals to the previous beginning inventory. Sorry, the last, yeah. The ending inventory, okay, plus the order received. Oh, sorry. I made a mistake. Equals to the beginning inventory, yeah, plus the order received, yeah, minus the previous demand. You can check. Yeah, we can check. Okay, student. Okay, if we have 50 and the demand is 2, then at the end, yeah, the inventory will be 48. Yeah, but if we receive 50 here, then the demand will be, the inventory will be 98. Is that correct? Correct, yeah. Okay, we can simulate again like this. Okay, now if we have 50, the demand is 4, then at the end the inventory will be 46. If we receive order here 50, the order quantity is 50, right? Yeah, then our inventory at the beginning, yeah, will be 46 plus 50, it equals to 96. So it's correct. Yeah, but in order to calculate the order received, we cannot just type 50 like this. Yeah, it depends on the order. Yeah, if previously we already order and the lead time is already fulfilled, then we will receive the order like that. So yeah, I just delete it first. So just leave it as it is. Then we copy down. Okay, so then this one, I need to explain about this. Yeah, why negative? Yeah, this is about inventory, beginning inventory, but why negative? Yeah, because the case study is back order. Yeah, so negative here to represent the back order. Yeah, the previous stock out. That's why when we receive order, we need to subtract this order first. Yeah, to fulfill the previous back order. For example, yeah, here if we have minus 4, but we receive 50. What happened? Okay, yeah, the 50 will be take, some of the 50 will be take to fulfill the back order first, like that. Yeah, so that's why here we leave the inventory can be negative. In lost sales, it will be different. Yeah, in lost sales, then we need to have function if like this. Yeah, because we want to avoid my negative. So yeah, we will have function like this. Yeah, in lost sales case. Yeah, but here we have back order case because the case is back order. Then we just leave. Yeah, when we have negative value of the inventory. Okay, so then, and then after that, this one, okay, receive order, okay, random number, yeah, we simulate the lead time first. Random number, same, yeah, it equals to run, sorry, open and close bracket. Then we copy down, and after that, don't forget to format it, yeah, format cell, and then number, yeah, itu, yeah, okay, good, 2 or 3, because here we have 3, yeah, sorry, so we make it 3, yeah, format cell, 3. Okay, this also same, number. Three decimal places. Okay, lead time between the same, yeah. So we can use VLOOKUP of this table, the demand, sorry, the lead time, yeah, the lead time table. Sorry, the value first, yeah, the value, this one, value, and then comma, we look up from this table. Okay, then we lock it F4 and also F4, and then we let Excel know that the data will be in the third column, first, second, third, third column. So here we type 3. Okay. Yeah, the lead time is 4. Then we can check, yeah. When the random number is 0.59, yeah, then it fall in this interval. So the lead time is 4. Yes. Can check again. Okay, 0.036, yeah, fall in this interval. The demand is, sorry, the lead time is 1. 2, yeah, 0.103, and fall in this interval, yeah, it's correct, yeah. So the lead time is 2, yes, correct. So after we make sure the result is correct, then we can copy down. Okay, so done. And then order status. Okay, before that, we need to calculate the receive order day. Yeah. Okay, if the order status is yes. So here, if order status equals to yes, we order. Then then we will receive the order start from the day, plus the lead time plus 1, plus the lead time plus 1. So we receive the next day, after we wait for the lead time, okay. If no, then it will be blank, and after that we can enter. Okay, let's say the order status is yes, just for example. So we order at day 1, we need to wait until 4 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we receive the order at day 6, like that. That's correct, yeah. Okay, so done. Then after that, here we need to make sure, at the day 6 we receive the order. So here, start from day 2, day 1 impossible, to receive the order because the lead day 2 come from the previous. So we don't want to simulate the previous, day 0, -1, -2. We don't want to simulate day 0, minus. So we start from day 2, for example, equals to when the day here, already represented by receive order day, then we need to refer to the order quantity. So how to have that function? We can use COUNTIF, from this range, okay, until this range, yeah, but I lock it, the first I lock. So when we copy down, then the second address, yeah, will go down as well, yeah. And the criteria will be the day, yeah, will be the day. Okay. Then, okay, just for example, yeah, then when we enter, okay, with us, yeah, okay, receive day is 3. So 3 here must be 1, yeah. So here when we copy down, and this, okay. When the receive order day is 4, okay, so in the day 4, we receive the order, yeah. But why 1? So here we need to multiply the 1 with the 50, yeah. Okay, we simulate again. For example, like this, okay. Now the lead time is 6, yeah. When we order at day 1, then the lead time is 6, then we will receive the order, yeah, at day 6. This one is correct. Okay, so then, yeah. So here we need to multiply with, yeah, the order quantity. Okay, then you can copy down. Copy down again. Oh, sorry, I forgot to lock it. Yeah. The order quantity must be locked. Must be locked like that. Okay, then we copy down. See, then, yeah, it's nice, yeah. Receive order day is at day 4. So at day 4 we will receive 50, yeah. It will be the beginning inventory, yeah, because in the beginning inventory we already consider the order received, yeah. Okay, sudah. So far, is there any question? No question. So for this one, yeah, also we can copy down. This one, order status, yes, right. So why repeat order status? Random number, what is different? Order status? Order status is yes, yeah. I never repeat order status, yeah. Okay, just copy down, yeah. Okay. Then, this one, yeah, I deleted this just for example, yeah, just to check our formula. Now the order status. Okay, we need to order, yeah, order status yes or no, yeah. We need to order when the ending inventory, yeah, if, okay, the ending inventory is less than or equals to the order level, yeah. If like that, then we will write yes, we order it. But if no, then we write no. And then, okay, so then we copy down. Okay, yeah, we can check, yeah. Here we have wrong answer. It's okay, no problem. I just leave it as it is in order to explain you, yeah, how to avoid, yeah, how to address this error. Okay, we just check for, one by one, yeah. When the beginning inventory is 50, okay, and then the demand is 10, so the ending inventory is 40. Do we need to order? No, because the reorder level is 10. Yeah, no, yes, correct. Okay, after that, sorry. Order status, yes, no. Oh, I need to lock, yeah, the reorder level. Reorder level, this one must be locked. FN F4. Okay, yeah. We check again. Beginning inventory is 50. Demand equals to 0. So at the end we will have 50. So we don't need to order. Yeah. And after that, the next the beginning inventory is 50. Yes, the 50 same. Yeah, and the same with the previous ending inventory. And then the demand is 4 based on the simulation. So at the end, the inventory is 46. Do we need to order? No, because the ending inventory is still higher than the reorder level. Okay, so yeah, the status is no. Yeah, so we can continue. The next day, 46, yeah, comes from the previous ending inventory, and then the demand is 10, still 36, no order, and so on until this one. Yeah, when the ending inventory is less than or equals to, yeah, the reorder level, then yes, we order. But the problem is, yeah, the next, yeah, of course, yeah, the inventory will be less than the reorder level, yeah, because we still receive demand, yeah. But here the status is order. Yes, it is wrong. We already order here. So how to avoid this problem? Okay, so here we need to add. Yeah, we need to add another function. Yeah, start from the second. Yeah, second day. We need to add another function. If we already order, then we need to wait until we receive the previous order, like that. Yeah, so the logic will be like this. Yeah, the logic will be like this. We need to check the ending inventory. If the ending inventory is less than or equals to the reorder level, and previously we never order, then we order. But if the ending inventory is less than or equals to the reorder level, but previously we already order, then we need to wait until we receive the order first, like that. So here, yeah, we need to check in this period. Yeah, do we place an order before, like that. So here, in order to check, then we can refer to the receive order date. Yeah, so here, yeah, we use AND logic. Yeah, if n this day, yeah, greater than the maximum of, yeah, sum of the previous, yeah, previous period. Yeah, if we already place an order, then we need to wait until we receive an order. Yeah, so max of the L1 until this one. But again, yeah, I lock the first, yeah, L21. That one. Okay, and the second logic is the ending inventory is less than or equals to the reorder level, then we can place an order, like that. Yeah. So here we can okay, then operator check again. If and this one, okay, so here, yeah. Okay. Now we press. Okay, now we can copy down. So we can check now, yeah. Okay, sudah. Now we check again. Until here, yeah, still no order, yeah, because the ending inventory is still 24. After that, yeah, 24 will be the beginning inventory, and then after that we receive demand 7, so the ending inventory is 17. Still no order, yeah, no, the status is no. But after that, yeah, this one will be the beginning inventory for the next day, and we receive demand equals to 10. Then after we use this inventory to fulfill this demand, then at the end we will have inventory at 7. Yes, we need to place an order. Okay, and then the lead time is 2. So from 7 we need to wait, yeah, 2 days. So we will receive order at 10, yeah, at day equals to 10. So here, after we place an order, because the period is still less than 10, it means that we already placed an order before, and yeah, at day 10, at day 8, yeah, we still haven't received the order, so we need to wait. That's the logic, yeah, that we have developed before. Yeah. So here when we check this one, yeah, even though 7, yeah, the stock is 7, okay, and there is no demand. So at the end, yeah, the ending inventory will be 7. Okay. So then, even though the ending inventory is 7 and less than the reorder level, but when we check, yeah, this day is still less than the 10. Yeah, so it means that we already placed an order before, but we still haven't received the order. That's why we cannot place an order again. That's why, yeah, the status is no. Yeah, this one also same. Yeah. Next day, the inventory is 7, and we receive 10. The demand is 10. Yeah. So it means that we have stock out 3. Yeah. But the inventory is 0. Yeah, and inventory is not stock out. Then later we can calculate the back order. Yeah. But now we talk about the ending inventory. So here, because the formula is if negative, we avoid it. Yeah. If negative, we consider as 0. Yeah. If not negative, then we can subtract, yeah, the beginning inventory by the demand. So here we got 0. Yeah. And then even though the ending inventory is 0, less than the reorder level, since previously we already ordered and still haven't received the order, then we cannot order. So the order status is no, still no. Yeah. So at the period 10, yes, we received the order. Then see, student, the beginning inventory is 47, not exactly 50. Yeah, not fully 50. Why? Because we need to fulfill the previous back order first. Remember, the case is back order. But when the case is lost sales, here will be 50 because we don't need to consider the previous back order, the previous stock out. I mean, yeah. So because the case is back order, so when we receive 50 here, we cannot use the full 50, yeah, but we need to subtract, yeah, with the previous stock out, which is 3, yeah. So beginning inventory of period 10, the D10 is 47 only, not fully 50. Okay, so please imagine, yeah, when I ask you to modify the formula become lost sales case study, I think you can, yeah, you can do that, yeah. Okay, student, and this is the beginning inventory. The demand is 10 from the simulation, yeah, and then at the end the stock is 37 and so on, yeah. So the order status is no, yeah. This one you can check by yourself, yeah. Okay, now it's time for us to develop formula to calculate the back order. Yeah, the logic is same. If same with the inventory, but we reverse it, yeah, because we talk about back order, yeah. If beginning inventory, yeah, less than the demand, yeah, our stock is insufficient to fulfill the demand, then we have stock out or back order, right? And the back order will be the back order will be demand, yeah, minus the beginning inventory. If no, it will be 0. Yes, you can copy it down. Okay, student, now we can check, yeah. Okay, here is that correct? 1. Okay, we can check, yeah. Beginning inventory is 2. We receive demand 3. Of course, yeah, we will have no stock, but we have back order 1. Okay, student, and after that, here we have back order, yeah, we have stock out minus 1, yeah. So when the stock is minus 1, we receive again demand equals to 3, then the back order will cumulative 4 equals to 4. Is that correct? Correct, yeah. And then after that, total back order is 4 now, yeah, minus 4 is 1, represented by minus 4. When we receive demand equals to 10, then the back order will be 14, like that. Okay, student, and after that, yeah, we receive our order 50, right? Because previously the total back order is 14, then we need to subtract, yeah, the 50 with 14 first. So the net inventory that we have is only 36. Yeah, the net inventory that we have is only 36 because we need to subtract the 50 with the 14 first. So here, yeah, the beginning inventory is 36. We receive demand 6. Then at the end we will have 30. We don't need to order like that. Okay, student. Yeah, I think it's correct. Yeah. Then after that, now based on this, yeah, this is our decision variable. Now we need to calculate. Yeah, we need to calculate the performance. Okay, sum of inventory equals to, yeah, we just need to sum of our inventory, the ending inventory, yeah. Okay, then we enter inventory cost. So we need to multiply this one, yeah, with the inventory cost. Holding cost is 1, yeah, per unit per day. 2. Okay, the sum of back order same. We sum it the back order, yeah, this one. Then we sum until one year, 365 days, yeah. We enter, and then the back order cost same. Sum of back order times the back order cost. Sum of demand based on this simulation. Okay. Okay, and service level. Okay, service level is our capability to fulfill the demand. So we can use this formula 1 minus the back or sum of back order, yeah, sum of back order divided by sum of demand. Okay, sorry, I forgot to write equals to, yeah, equals to 1 minus sum of back order, this one, yeah, divided by the sum of demand. Yeah, our service level is only 71%. Yeah, because, yeah, based on this demand, yeah, we have back order around 2,000, yeah. Sum of demand. Sorry, this one, yeah, back order cost, yeah. Sorry, back order, sum of back order, yeah. So based on this demand, yeah, we 1,614, yeah, we have back order 455. So our service level is 71% only. Of course, if we want to increase our service level, we need to increase the order quantity. Is that correct? We can check. We can check. Okay, if we increase, now become 80. Or before that, we try to simulate first, This one, still 50, So here we need to know the service level, our service level. We can simulate it. How to simulate? We just put our cursor at the blank cell, then we press delete. So from here we can see, we can observe our service level. It's around this one, around 67 until 75, around that value. See, so then around that value. So if you want to increase, yes, we can modify the order quantity. Let's say become 80. Then we can simulate again. Now the service level is increased, around 75 to 89, Then after that we can increase again. Let's say, become 110, for example. Then we can simulate again. Now around 88, to 90. It's better, But again, to increase the service level, we need to increase the order quantity. When we increase order quantity, of course, the inventory, the inventory will increase as well. When the inventory is increased, then the inventory cost will increase. That's the logic consequence. If we want to improve our service level, we need to have a lot of stock. When we have a lot of stock, then the cost of stock will be increased. Will higher and that. So it will be trade-off. So that's why we can combine. We can combine this simulation with the optimization. We can use mathematical model to optimize this. This is just try and error, right? We just try and error. We try if when the order level is 15, then the order quantity is, let's say, 70. What happened? Okay, here we can inspect. We can observe our cost performance and also the service level. And this is still incomplete, because I still haven't considered the ordering cost. Ordering cost. From here, we can try to count the status of order. If yes, we count it, we multiply with the order cost like that. So we can combine with the inventory cost and also the back order cost. Then we can calculate the total cost. So we can try to simulate. We can try to observe the trade-off between service level and the cost performance. In one side, we need to increase the service level. In another side, we need to decrease the total cost. The problem is when we increase, the service level, definitely the total cost will increase as well, and we don't want it. So in this situation, we can try to balance it. Then, if you want to consider about this, it will be your thesis topic if you want, or we can try to relate with the supplier. If we can relate with the supplier, it will be supply chain optimization. This is just one company, right? So the problem is like this. For this company, for this single company, let's say, just for example, reorder level equals to 15, and the order quantity equals to 70 is the best. Just for example, it's the best decision. But this order quantity will be the demand of our supplier. When the demand of our supplier is 70, maybe this is not the best demand for our supplier. In order to respond 70 units for our company, maybe the total cost in the supplier will be higher. So total cost for one supply chain will be higher. And from the customer point of view, of course, customer doesn't want to purchase the product with higher price. And when the supplier total cost is higher, who will pay? Our company as well. And that's a problem. When this is okay, you can imagine, in order to minimize the total cost of our company, this, for example, this is our company, this is the best decision. Okay. But after that, when we send the order quantity equals to 70 to our supplier, in order to fulfill 70, maybe this is not the economic production quantity, not the economic production quantity of our supplier. When the supplier produce at this quantity, maybe this is not good. And the total cost may be higher. When the total cost of the supplier is higher, of course, the supplier also doesn't want to lose. So this cost will be paid by who? By our company. So when we sell our products to the customer, then the product price will be higher. Why not? Yeah, we consider the total cost in the supplier and also total cost in our company. We minimize it together. Yeah, student. And this is very, very, very interesting. Yeah, very interesting for your thesis topic. Okay. And for the demand, I think you can try to get the demand, yeah, using secondary data from your senior, yeah, from your senior thesis. You don't need to go to real company, yeah. But you just focus on the method improvement. Maybe in your senior thesis, yeah, the method is not simulation and not the integrated cost, yeah. But now, yeah, you try to modify the method. Now you will use integrated simulation, yeah, to minimize the joint total cost. Yeah, joint total cost, yeah, between your company and your supplier, like that. Also can be thesis topic. Okay, student. Interesting, right? Is there any question, please?
Sir,
Yes.
can we use this system modeling if the parameter is static, or is it for dynamic only?
Yeah, we use simulation because the parameter data is dynamic. Yeah. When the demand, yeah, this one, when the demand is not probabilistic like this, then we don't need to use the simulation. Yeah, we can use mathematical model to optimize. Yeah. But here the problem is the demand is probabilistic. Yeah, this one you can see the demand value can be from 0 to 10, and also the lead time also probabilistic from 1 to 4. Yeah, because we have demand and lead time probabilistic demand and lead time. Then yeah, it is very hard to model it using mathematical model. Then yeah, we know one of the alternative to model the system is simulation. Is it clear, Safina?
Yes, sir.
Yes. maybe some of you already have another case. Yeah, maybe the holding cost or maybe the back order cost is dynamic. Yeah, the back order cost is dynamic. Back order cost here can be, let's say, you offer discount, yeah, for your customer. When you cannot fulfill today, then you promise to fulfill, let's say, another 3 days. Sometimes customer can accept, yeah, this offer, but sometimes customer will ask for the discount, will ask for the compensation. Yeah, yes, I can wait, but what is the compensation for us? Like that. Yeah. Same with me. Yeah, when I order some products to a department store, when the department store cannot fulfill my order at the same day, I will ask I will ask the compensation. Yeah, maybe you can about indent, right? Yeah, yes, yes, I can indent. Yeah, I can order, but what is the compensation for me? Do you have bonus for me? Like that. Yeah, I will ask something like that. In order to have bonus, in order to provide the bonus, of course, it will be the additional cost, right, for the company, and this cost will be the back order cost. That's why, yeah, back order cost can be dynamic. It based on the customer preference. Yeah, so we can simulate. When the customer preference is like this, then the cost will be low. When the customer preference is like this, the cost will be higher, like that. Yeah, so we can simulate. Yeah, when we have back order cost, dynamic back order cost, then we can modify the simulation system. Then we will have another case study. Okay, student, is there any question, please? Monte Carlo simulation for future demand looks like this in some aspect. Yeah, but I not use Monte Carlo concept. Yeah, I just use Monte Carlo concept to this one. Yeah, to simulate the demand. Yeah, to take the demand like this. Yeah, the random number fall in which interval I take the demand. This is very similar with Monte Carlo concept. But to calculate the rest, I don't use the Monte Carlo calculation. Yeah. You can check. Yeah, this one I use formula from inventory, so we can combine. Yeah, I combine it. I combine concept of Monte Carlo just to simulate the demand, also the lead time, and after that I combine it with the formula in inventory analysis. Is it clear, Mohsin?
Yes.
Yeah. Then we can try to draw the graph, yeah, in order to prove. Yeah, theoretically we already know the graph of the queue system. Yeah, So now we can try to prove, yeah, based on the beginning inventory. Yeah, yeah. Based on the beginning inventory, yeah, I insert graph. This one chart. Okay. See, student? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I can share. Yeah. This is theoretically, this is the graph of queue system with the order case. Yeah. Now can you see my slide about inventory? Hello, student?
Yes, sir.
Yes. This is the graph. Yeah. Continuous review queue system fake order case. This is the graph. Yeah. Sometimes we have negative value. Okay, student. And this is the graph. Yeah. And see the graph is not straight line but curve. Yeah, like this, dynamic like this. Yeah. Now we can try to confirm with our simulation result. I new share again. I go back again to my Excel. I click share. This one. See this one. Yeah, we have negative value, and also the graph of the simulation is not straight line. Yeah, but curve like this. Yeah, and this one. See, student, the period and the period of the cycle, yeah, of the inventory is not same. Yeah, dynamic, but the order quantity is same, which is 50. Yeah, order quantity is how many? 70. Yeah, 70. This one. Yeah, 70. The order quantity is same, 70, but the cycle of the inventory is not same. Sometimes it is around this one, yeah, 14 days. Sometimes more than 40 days. Like that. Yes, we can confirm, yeah, that our simulation is valid because the graph is similar, or the graph is matched, yeah, with the theoretical graph in queue system, like that. Bullwhip effect, no. Yeah, bullwhip effect is amplification of the demand. Yeah, okay, like this. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to delete this one, yeah, because it blocked, yeah, the calculation. Okay, order quantity this one, student. Yeah, bullwhip effect. What is that? Yeah, bullwhip effect is the amplification of the error. Yeah, okay, like this. Yeah, order quantity equals to 70 will be in the demand, will be in the order for our supplier. Okay, student. If our supplier, yeah, if our supplier has batch size, yeah, per production batch, let's say the size is 100, it means that even though we place an order 70, but the supplier will produce, yeah, one time production, it equals to 100 quantity. So based on this, yeah, based on this case, yeah, we already have bullwhip effect 30. Yeah, we place an order 70 units, but the supplier, yeah, produce 100 units. So the error already 30. Okay, when the supplier place an order to the supplier of the supplier 100 units, maybe the supplier of the supplier also receive order from the other supplier, yeah, or from the other company, like that. Let's say the other demand is, let's say, just for example, is 70. So in this situation, the total order for the supplier of the supplier is 100 from the supplier, yeah, and 70 from the other company. Total is 170. When the batch size of the supplier is 200, then yeah, the error will be 30 again. Yeah, the real order is 170, but the production quantity is 200. So yeah, the error is 30 again. Total already 60. The error, yeah, already 60 units. So it will be amplified, yeah, will be amplified again until the first, yeah, supplier. It called as bullwhip effect. Okay, clear? Who is the student that the student who asked, or Iqbal? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, sudah. This one, yeah. Okay, in order to increase service level, we can try to modify the reorder level and also the order quantity, and then now become 91, yeah, 91%. It depends on the product as well, yeah. If the product is, let's say, blood, blood is critical product, right? So it's better to have higher service level. Maybe the cost is slightly higher. It's okay, no problem, yeah, because we want to save our patient like that. Okay, student. Any question again, please? No question? If no, then yeah, I can stop share, yeah. And after that, next week we will discuss upon the theory of the inventory, of the simulation, yeah. And also, if you want to have exercise, you can try to modify.